Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of my Cobblemon series. So today we start working on our Gen 1 part of the Pokedex, which we didn't get a lot done with it, but you know what, we caught a lot of Pokemon this episode, so I just wanted to show you that whole catching montage, and I will definitely talk throughout that whole montage. But thank you so much for the support on the episodes. I have named my little friend, one of my shinies, uh, thanks to a comment. So we have Watergate here, and yes, he was, he did get evolved in this episode, and you will see that later in the episode. But yeah, look at how beautiful Watergate is. This shiny is so cool looking. But, so yes, and we caught another shiny here, a Watchog. So that was really cool. It was a Pat Rat before, and then we evolved it. But yeah. So just wanted to show that off, and let's get to the catching. First off, we name our little Fomantis after a commenter who said to name him Watergate. The first Pokemon that we find and catch is this Crabrawler that we find on a beach near our house. We catch him to complete the final evolution line. We will evolve him later on. We have not done that in this episode, but we will do it in the next episode. Then we take a few steps and we catch this Kingler. We take another few steps and we catch this Sandygast. After traveling for a little bit longer, we find this Gimmighoul area, which we find some EXP candies, which we give to our Psyduck to evolve him, which completes the Psyduck line. And then we found this Mankey, which was hanging about, and we tried to catch him, but we ended up killing him on accident. After taking a few steps from the Gimmighoul area, we find this Larvitar, which we accidentally knock out, which is 2 for 0 for the catches and the kills. To end that nasty streak, we catch this Rufflet, thankfully. And then we catch 2 Machop shortly after. We find this Hisuian Sneasel after. And we catch, yet again, another Machop. It looks like I'm trying to cover all of my bases for the Machop line. We also find a Riolu, which is really cool. After a short rest, we catch this Sneasler. We run around for a little bit, and we find this Staravia, which we catch. At this point, we were just catching any Pokemon we saw that we have not seen yet or that we wanted to finish the line for. After wasting Ultra Balls on a Slowbro, we find this Krabby, which we catch, which completes the Krabby line. After traveling for a little bit longer, we find this Coughing in a village, which we catch. We also catch this Klefki, which we find a few steps away. The reason why I'm traveling is to find the locations of the starters in Gen 1, as well as a Savannah for Ekans and a Spearow and Fearow. After looking a while on my mini-map, I'm seeing this Jigglypuff, and I'm wondering where it is because it's not on land. And I see underneath that there's a Jigglypuff just hiding, and I'm not entirely sure if they can breathe underwater, but I guess this is proof that it can. After looting the village for a little bit, we accidentally kill this Mime Jr. and we catch this Fido. We were just about to leave the village when we find this Darkspawn just right outside the outskirts, so we had to catch it. This completes the Fido line. We also find this Persian shortly after. And of course, we had to catch this cute Yamper. Which, fun fact, my first playthrough of Sword and Shield, I caught a Yamper and I called it Elizabeth after Queen Elizabeth, which I find kind of ironic. We also catch this Lillipup, which always reminds me of the days when I used to play Generation 5 as a kid. After looting this nether portal, we catch this Machoke. At the time when I caught this Machoke, I wasn't sure how it was going to evolve him, because he was a trading evolution, and I can't really trade right now as I'm playing single player, but I shortly find a link cable that I can use to evolve, which I find is really awesome. We then find this Riolu, which I think I catch 3 in total in this video, which I don't know why I did that, I was just excited. Then we find this Pidove on the top of this mountain. We find this really cool area with the cherry blossom trees, and I had to mark it on my map. It's just beautiful, and I had to steal some trees. Fun fact, I know it's really girly, but these trees are my favorite. We find this Swinub behind the cherry blossom tree area, which we catch. I do think it's really cool that the snow biome is right behind the cherry trees. We also find the Citadel, which I think its model is just so cute. Then we find this Stealer, which I always thought was strange that it didn't have an evolution until Legends Arceus, but I'm glad that they added one for him. Looking back, I see I waste a lot of Ultra Balls, which I'm glad I make different types of balls, because I feel like using this much Ultra Balls is just absurd. I find this Smeargle, which I find its animation to be so freaking cute. I'm so glad they gave this little guy some personality. For this Mastiff, I just love the model they gave it. I can go on and on about all the models in this game, but I think they all look amazing. As a person who grew up playing Pixelmon, I still have a soft spot for that in my heart, but I do think this mod just looks beautiful and it does Pokemon justice. We do find this Ice Cube shortly after, which when this Pokemon was introduced, I honestly could not believe it. It did not look like a Pokemon to me at all. We also fight and catch this Dugong, which completes its line. We also catch this Galarian Meowth. We also catch this Emolga. If you've made it this far into the episode, I'd like to remind you to like and subscribe, but also I would love to know what generation of Pokemon you started playing on. Mine was Generation 5. Leave your comments down below. We then find this Cryogonal, which never looked like a Pokemon to me. I don't know what they were thinking when they made this design, but I just don't see it as a Pokemon. I just see it as like some random monster. Then we find this Voltorb, which we of course had to evolve after catching it. We then catch another Voltorb, which completes its line. We then find this really cool snowy mountain biome, which I really liked. We find an Aron on this mountaintop and we catch it. Then we catch this Makuhita. After traveling for a while, I get a pop-up that says Golbat is ready to evolve, so of course I had to take advantage of that. If you have any suggestions for names, please leave them down in the comments below. After a long traveling session, we finally find this really small savanna biome. Honestly, I don't even know how this counts as a savanna biome. It's such a small area, but it worked out to find the Pokemon that I needed. First up was this Nidorino. Then this Spearow. Which I evolve into Fearow, which it kind of looks like a Muppet to me, like one of those little Muppet guys. And then I catch this Ekans. And then I evolve it to its final form. I then catch this Woobat and a Doduo. Then a Lunatone. Then this Mankey. We do go back home to evolve the Mankey. We do go back home quite often to organize our PC with the Pokemon that we did finish the lines for, as well as emptying out our inventory. We also catch this Spearow, which finishes off the Fearow line. We find this Girafaridge, which when I was a kid and I played Pokemon Diamond, I honestly thought this Pokemon was kind of weird that it didn't have an evolution, but I'm glad they finally gave him one in the newer generations. We find and catch this Nidoran, and by the way, the model is super cute for it. I did find that a lot of bird Pokemon were getting stuck on this cliff here, which was strange, but we did find this Squawkabilly here. We then find this Tranquil. And a Doduo. We search for a little bit, but we find this Wynot. We then find the Spiritomb, which I do have plans for in the future. And we find the Spinda, which I like the patterns on its face because it kind of looks like it has goggles on. We then catch this Dodrio, but when we're fighting it, I think the animation for it looks super cool. We then catch this Durant. We find this hidden Phanpy, which of course we catch. Then we catch another Riolu. I kind of went crazy with the Riolu catches this episode. We do fight and catch this Shedinja, but not without having a bajillion zombies fighting me. We do complete the Shedinja line. We catch a Poochyena and an Execute. Then this Shinx after a creeper almost blows us up. Then we catch this Flittle, which this is another Pokemon that I thought the design just did not look like a Pokemon whatsoever. We also catch this Machoke. We catch another Phanpy, but this one's out in the open, so it's easier to catch. We catch another Shinx. We then travel for a little bit and we find the Snubbull in this random village. We then find a mangrove area, which I do love mangrove trees, but I just hate the biome because it's just so cluttered and it's hard to maneuver through, especially when you're trying to find Pokemon. I do catch a Lotad here, which I catch two others shortly after. I then find this Paldean Looper that's hidden in a mangrove tree. Then I find this Carablast, which is yet again another nostalgic Pokemon for me. Within the mangrove biome, I find a jungle biome, which I find is really interesting. It's the second biome that's covered inside of a different biome. In the jungle biome, I do find an Aipom, which I catch. Both Aipom and Ambipom remind me of a game called Pokepark that I grew up with. Leave a comment down below if you do know what that game is. If not, it was a game found on the Wii. We head home and we evolve our Machoke into a Machamp, which completes that line. After organizing our PC, we log off for the day, and then the next day we start traveling again. First up is the Slackoth, which we evolve. Then this Illumise, which I think that the model makes it look like it has a really fat forehead, which I find really funny. Then we catch this Carnivine, which this is actually one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Then we catch this Tangela. After landing in a Gimmighoul area, we find some rare candies and some EXP candies. I give it to Watergate and we evolve him. We then find and catch this Flamigo. After heading home to empty out my inventory, I evolve this Nidorino and I also evolve my Eevee. After traveling through this new savanna biome, a shiny pet rat spawns. Leave a comment down below if you have any name suggestions for this little guy. I then catch an Ekans to complete its line, and then I catch a Kangaskhan. Next is a Rhyhorn, and we catch another Flittle. And then I find this really hidden Nidoran, which of course I caught. Then I catch this Lickitung, which completes that line. I question why this Pokemon even exists. I catch a Floatzel, which completes that line. I then throw a million Pokeballs at this Rhydon. And this Toxapex. This completes the Toxapex line. Next is this Pelipper, which completes that line. Then we decide to go mining, which we find this Zubat, which we catch. And we catch a Nosepass. Then we catch this Roggenrola, and its second evolution. We then catch this Dugtrio. I do find the spider spawner, so I do make a waypoint for it. I also catch this Ghastly while I'm down here. I catch a Whisper. I head back home and I evolve a Phanpy that I caught, which completes its line. I also evolve a Shinx. And I evolve this Nidoran to complete its line. I evolve 2 of my Lotads, and I just need a Water Stone to complete this evolution line. I then evolve this Snubbull into a Gramble. After those evolutions, I catch a Wattrel and a Lapras. Then a Carvanha, Remoraid, and Barraskewda. We then travel to this ice biome to catch this Avalugg, which completes that line. At this point, I was just trying to find a dripstone area to find some Clefairies, which was after the Ekans line. I then catch a Berserker. And then a Diglett. And a Coughing. I then travel home to evolve my Wattrel, which completes that line. After that, I go back into the wild to catch a Herdier, which I evolve into a Stoutland. I then catch a Snubbull, which completes that line, and a Staraptor immediately after, which completes that line as well. I catch a Mudsdale, which completes that line. He will be going in the barn in the future. After finding a Savannah, I catch a Meowth, which completes that line. I also find a Boltund, which I find the model to be super cute. After finding a huge jungle, I catch this Morlul and a Shroodle. Next, a Bellsprout, which is another one of my favorite Pokemon, and a Pikipek, and a Bounsweet, which has one of my favorite final evolutions on Pokemon. We catch a lot of Pokemon in the jungle. Next up is a Weeping Bell, and a Trumbeak, a Chatot, a Heracross, which should have another evolution, but it doesn't, a Primeape, we catch another Bounsweet to evolve it later on, a Gloom. Second to last, we find this beautiful Serena, which of course we catch. I do want her on my final team at the end of this series, but we will have to see what happens in the future. Finally, our last catch is this Kecleon. Thank you so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed. And for the next episode, we're gonna try and build a greenhouse. So the greenhouse will be in this general area somewhere, but I will also be trying to find a Bulbasaur offline, off camera, in the jungle biome, because supposedly they spawn, they're an ultra rare spawn, so I'm hoping I can do that. I will be like recording to see when I do catch the Bulbasaur, because I think that'd be really cool to see on camera. But I do want to take a break from Pokemon catching. This was a lot of catching, and it was really hard to edit this episode just because there were so many Pokemon I caught. And if you have any suggestions for names of Pokemon that you would like, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to read and name some Pokemon after you guys. Alright, thank you so much and have a wonderful day.